So we've got our two teams here. We have Dragon Bolt Aleki, Porygon 2, Ferrothorn, Kyogre, and Incineroar versus Marco's Mimikyu, Incineroar, Calyrex, Urshifu, Tapu Fini, and Regieleki.
Yeah, so we had ample time to talk about these teams, but I don't think we talked much about the Regieleki on either side. Whether or not they're being brought to the matchups, we know that both Regielekis on each team are like completely different. We have one Focus Sash, just pure damage, with even with the Thunder on Maddie's side, and then the Light Clay, no Protect, standard Electro Web spamming Regieleki on Marco's side. I think that's going to be one of his better ways of dealing with the Kyogre.
I definitely agree. I think it puts on a lot of pressure, right? Because it's just moving first against almost everything except for the enemy Aleki. Could be a speed type for all we know as well. So there's a lot of options here for the Aleki to do whatever it wants. It can set up screens. It can make Calyrex unkillable. It's a very cool mon here. And we haven't really seen Marco bring it. I think it's a little bit more niche of a mon. I think that team is just Mimi, Instant, Calyrex, Fini, like 9 times out of 10. But the last 2 mons really do add a lot to the team and can really create some really cool options that sometimes the enemy is not expecting, especially when playing Mimi Cali, because it's so straightforward.
No doubt there. All right, so we're getting started. Everyone get hyped for game 1 of Finals Battle Room Brawl 3. With Maddie leading with the Incineroar Porygon 2, matching up against Marco's Regieleki and Calyrex.
So I really like the lead from Marco here. I like the lead from Maddie as too. Maddie's lead is much more like passive, right? Like it's a safe, good lead. It's putting on a lot of pressure. Like it has Intimidate pressure. It can be really annoying. It has Foul Play on the P2. So there's a lot going good for both sides here. Actually, I think I like Maddie's lead a lot more just because the Incineroar is just really weakening the strength of this Incineroar here, or of the Calyrex, sorry.
Right, but also it has that fake out pressure onto the Regieleki, so we can't just set up screens for the Calyrex just yet. So it's a little awkward of a position. As Marco opting to switch out his intimidated Calyrex into the Tapu Fini, going to activate the Misty Terrain with that Misty Surge ability.
I think this was a very likely turn. I don't think Calyrex was sticking around. You don't want to risk taking like a potential Flare Blitz Foul Play or just a parting shot in general. You don't want your Dynamax weakened so much. So it makes a lot of sense on the switch.
Yeah, no doubt there. Marco did, however, get the light screen up with the Regieleki as the parting shot from the Incineroar goes into the Ice Rider slot now with the -1 attack and special attack onto the Tapu Fini, going to bring out that Ferrothorn. Looking real good in this position.
Ooh, I love that play from Maddie there. We get, like, the parting shot is extremely safe. That would be a -2 Calyrex. Marco's not maxing that. Maddie knows that. The screen is whatever, because this matchup is just all about setting up this Ferrothorn. And so Trick Room switching to Ferro is just so perfect here. Neither of these Pokemon are putting any threat onto Ferrothorn. So this is the freest Iron Defense I've ever seen. I'm thinking Maddie gets 2 Iron Defenses here. This looks just really, really good for Maddie. And Marco has 2 Pokemon that can't touch Ferrothorn. I love this positioning. Trick Room's up. Eerie Impulse is live too, so this is just a great turn, a great position.
And just as you said, Colin, the Iron Defense on the Ferrothorn going to raise its defense stat by 2, also boosting up its body press damage as a Foul Play going into the Tapu Fini slot, covering for a potential Calyrex switch-in. And the Muddy Water comes out, does connect on both the Porygon 2 and the Ferrothorn. Will we see an accuracy drop? We do not, as the Regieleki going to get a little chip damage on the Porygon 2. Consolation prize with that Volt Switch as Marco opts to switch right into the Mimikyu. So, no Incineroar to really deal with this Ferrothorn. But as we saw earlier, and Colin, you mentioned earlier that Mimikyu walls this Ferrothorn if you can get the taunt off.
I really do like the Mimikyu as well, just because it has Taunt, Wisp. It has a ton of good moves to stop this Ferrothorn from even playing the game. So I think this game is not doomed yet. I think Marco's just going for Muddy Water as just like a, hopefully we get this accuracy drop, right?
Yeah.
Like, because he doesn't want to give Calyrex free damage, so it's just really safe turn, or safe play.
And again, Colin prophesizing Maddie's turns here. A second Iron Defense. Ferrothorn now at +4 defense as a Foul Play is going to proc the Disguise ability. No longer protected by that ability. Gonna take a little chip damage onto Mimikyu. And as you said, another Muddy Water coming out on the field, connecting with both. And we do see the accuracy drop onto the Ferrothorn as it also gets taunted.
Oh, my cat just broke a bowl. So the the taunt there is really smart, but I like the prioritization of targeting Mimikyu there, just because it is doing it's the main threat to this Ferrothorn. Like, it's the only thing that really checkmates the Ferrothorn. So this is just going so well for Maddie. The +4 body presses aren't going to do a ton to Feeny, but it is free damage at the end of the day. Porygon's not going to take that much either. And there's also just the threat of Eerie Impulse as well. We haven't seen it yet, but it's there.
It's there. Also, the Misty Terrain is still up for a while, so we can't even burn the Ferrothorn. As Ferrothorn going to body press onto that Tapu Fini. Honestly, sizable amounts of damage. We know it's, I believe, yes, leftovers on Maddie's side. So it should be able to get in like 3 or 4 body presses as the Porygon 2 just goes back to full. Muddy Water doing negligible damage to both of them still, but another accuracy drop onto the Ferrothorn as now Porygon 2 is taunted as well. Yeah, Colin, it's a little, it's a slow burn. I know your cat like reacted hard to that second Iron Defense, but I think Marco still has like chances here because of the accuracy drops.
The accuracy drops are nice, but I don't know how this thing's gonna die, because Marco's win condition now has turned into making sure Ferrothorn or Mimikyu lives forever, so that in the 1v1 it gets to Wisp the Ferrothorn and taunt it permanently and just wins, because Will-O-Wisp will kill Ferrothorn eventually, right? Mm-hmm. So this situation is still winnable, but I think with the pressure of Incineroar plus Kyogre, this is going to be very difficult for Marco to overcome with this +4 defense Ferrothorn. Even though the accuracy drops are there, it doesn't matter. He's still hitting them. Yep,
hitting another body press onto the Tapu Fini, bringing it down to 30% as the Kyogre switching from the Porygon 2. Tapu Fini now opting to get those Calm Minds up, but and a play rough into the Kyogre, doing a sizable chunk of damage against the Kyogre. No full power water spouts here, but Kyogre is still sitting pretty good as far as Maddie's board positioning goes, as the Trick Room and Misty Terrain ends.
I like the way that Maddie's playing this. I like both ways, honestly. Like, Marco realizes, like, hey, I need to go for those Muddy Waters. I need to get the accuracy. I got what I needed. Let's continue to just spam. Like, now let's try to set up and see what we can do from there. There's still both maxes in play, so this is very, it's gonna be interesting. I think these next couple turns are gonna be explosive. I think Marco really has to prioritize keeping this Mimikyu alive, though. I'm a little worried that he's just attacking with it, because, like I said, I think that if Mimi goes down, I think Maddie will take game 1 like almost instantly.
Yeah, knowing the Calyrex moveset, he does have close combat, but with those +4 defenses, it's not doing like any damage at all. Might do more than Calyrex with Iron Barbs than not. Kyogre going to double back in the Porygon 2, just kind of wanting to wear the taunt off on it. Oh, and he traces the Misty Surge to bring the Misty Terrain back on the field to protect himself from the Will-O-Wisp.
That was a guaranteed trace as well. That was really well played by Maddie, because certain abilities you can't trace, such as One and Disguise. So that was actually just no luck. That was just a good play from Maddie there. That was sick. That was a sick use of trace.
And he lands another body press. So this Tapu Fini, Ferrothorn, he's got his glasses on. He's not losing this, and he shakes off the taunt to boot.
I love that play, because I thought Kyogre could just kill Mimi there. That's what I would have done. I would just went, I'm gonna kill Mimi, right? But Maddie's like, no, I'm just gonna play the slow game. I don't have to like risk Mimi switching or doing some bad play and waste my max. I'm just gonna switch in a guaranteed Misty Terrain. That was sick. That was awesome. That was an awesome trace. That was a cool trace.
I'm super impressed.
Sometimes trace can bite you in the ass, but that was a good one.
Yeah. All right, Marco going to now taunt the Porygon 2 rather than the Ferrothorn. Muddy Water going to miss the Porygon 2, but will land on the Ferrothorn.
Can we get -3?
-3 accuracy, maybe?
Oh, -3. I really do think Marco has to be playing this way.
Oh my god, but he still lands the leech seed.
Oh my god. I think Marco's making the correct play by muddy watering. Like, he needs to get those accuracies, but Mattie's Ferrothorn refuses to miss.
Yeah, so he at a certain point he's gonna be forced to switch this Mimikyu out. But the taunt play there onto the Porygon 2, I think it's smart because you're kind of counting on Ferrothorn not doing anything with all the accuracy drops. But even now, because he didn't go for body press, he kind of, is doing well. Yeah.
It's not a huge deal too. The leech seed landing there is not the worst case because Mimi can just switch. Like, it's not a big deal at all that it hit. As we see it do switch.
Yeah, going to switch out into that Regieleki. Regieleki looking a bit better here. Porygon 2 gonna swap out as well since it's taunted. Incineroar coming back onto the field. Intimidate not gonna be a factor against these two special attackers, but he does threaten the fake out in the following turn as a Muddy Water. This is +1 special attack, rain boosted Muddy Water, doing just over half to the Incineroar. And a crit onto the Ferrothorn. Not too much damage, but another body press connects. This Ferrothorn isn't missing.
He don't miss. That's so clean. The Ferrothorn grabbing a KO there is really nice. Like, the Incineroar switch is even perfect now because now he's threatening fake out body press, and so I think all he has to do, he has to just read which one will go into Mimi because you gotta assume Mimi comes in here to try and take this +4 body press. But this situation is just looking better and better. There still is a max for Mattie as well. So this,
honestly, someone in chat mentioned it, but like, if you told me this tournament was no Dynamax allowed, like watching this so far, I wouldn't be surprised. But no, the Calyrex Ice Rider comes on the field. He's gonna max. Marco needs some like momentum here, so he needs to get those Chilling Neigh boosts potentially to even touch this Ferrothorn.
I mean, I think Max Knuckle is relatively safe here. There's no fighting resist on the entire side, and there's 3 fighting weaks. So it's a super safe Max Knuckle with this Dynamax play. Incin will die, Porygon will take a lot of damage. It's a win-win. Also, there's potentially an Electro Web. I don't know if we saw Electro Web, but Electro Web plus Max Knuckle sometimes outspeeds Incineroar, which we're gonna see right here.
Yep, Electro Web going to connect on both Ferrothorn and Incineroar. Incineroar certainly not going to survive whatever attack comes his way, but...
Oh, there it is, baby! Yeah. There it is, that's +2. That was well played. That's one of the cool things about Ice Riders, is actually very much faster than Glastrier. So this play isn't possible with the baby horse, but when the rider is attached, you get a little bit more speed, and this play is kind of sick.
Yeah, for sure. So the Knuckle boost +1 as well, the Chilling Neigh. So we got a +2 Ice Rider against this +4 Ferrothorn, but he lands another move! Leech Seed onto a Lucky!
I like the Leech Seed there because I thought like if I'm Mattie, I kind of thought that Mimi could switch in for one of them, but Marco saw a play that Mattie didn't think of, which was the Electro Web Max Knuckle. You wouldn't give the instant like that if you saw this play coming.
Right.
So it was just a really good play for Mattie, or for Marco, to get himself back into the game here, because that +2, this thing's a problem. This Ice Rider is a problem. It could potentially, like, if there's a couple missed moves here, the Ice Rider might kill everything before Mimi comes in, which would mean Mimi would checkmate the Ferrothorn. So Marco, with this play, is still in this game. He just needs to keep that Mimikyu alive.
Yeah, honestly, we were talking about how doomed the position Marco was in earlier, but he got the important accuracy drops he needed. So it really showing, like, he knew that was his out in this matchup with what he brought, right?
Yeah, no, he's been playing the matchup as well as he could considering the circumstances. The accuracy drops are the best play he can make. He got a little lucky getting them, but like he spammed a lot of Muddy Waters, so I think he was gonna get 1 or 2. I mean, this thing is yet to miss, so the accuracy drops have not mattered at all. Apparently, it's about a 45% accurate chance to hit that Leaf Seed onto the Alecki or the Mimikyu, which they've hit in both. So this is something else.
All right, so now we see the Dynamax from Mattie's side. I suspect we're not seeing a Dynamax Ferrothorn here, as the Kyogre is going to be the one to Dynamax with that eerie red glow. So both restricteds on each team going to be the key Dynamax user in this matchup for them, as a Max Guard comes out from the Kyogre, not wanting to give any potential boosts from the Ice Rider attacking it. Electro Web going to do, again, I think Ferrothorn gained more HP from this turn than not from the Leech Seed. As, yes, we see the Max Guard.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Max Quake, and what the heck is this?
Oh, it hits. That play was really well played from Matty, just because there's not much Marco can do, because he needs to keep this Alecki alive so that this Mimikyu can't come in. It's so important that Mimikyu doesn't come in, because the minute Mimikyu comes in versus Kyogre, it's dead. So this is looking like that was the biggest move that he needed to hit right there. That body press probably clutches him the game, because now Mimikyu can't safely checkmate the Ferrothorn. So, wow.
I mean, it's going to come down to probably, well, even then, without Calyrex, Ferrothorn endgame, Kyogre's doing plenty of damage to Calyrex in this situation as well. Ferrothorn going to protect. He's hit all the moves he needs to for this matchup, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, Calyrex still could potentially have a chance. There's always a crit. That's the way out, I think, for Marco at this point, is to crit that Ferrothorn, because it's going to go to +3 here. It's going to go to +4 when it kills Porygon, so we'll be at an even footing with the Ferrothorn. You get the crit, maybe that's your way out. Ooh, actually, Kyogre lives.
Yeah,
that's actually pretty big.
You said +3, but I'm like, that's only a Max Quake. That's not super effective. It's not stab. Kyogre's living this pretty comfortably. The +1 Speed F is going to help it take Kyogre moves in the rain now that the its Dynamax turns are over. So again, as you said, it's not necessarily over. We have these accuracy drops.
That's true. That's true. All he needs to really do is hit one Leech Seed, and he should be good to go, I think. Yeah. I mean, granted, that's a pretty hard Leech Seed to hit. Those accuracy drops, I mean, apparently not for that Ferrothorn, but normally, like, the Leech Seeds are not easy to hit. So I think there still might be a little bit of hope if we get a lot of misses here, which I think is doable. It's definitely doable.
For sure. I mean, the Leech Seed's more likely than a critical hit from the Ice Rider, so you think about it, like, it is more favorable in Matty's position here. So maybe he's rethinking if he should have Max Knuckle before. Although, if he crits, you think +2 would KO?
I like the Max, I thought the Max Ground would KO. I don't think the Glacial Lance will KO, but if he crits CC, that's what we're probably having to wait to see.
Right. Alright, so Glacial Lance going to knock out Kyogre, as the Geyser did just around half to this Ice Rider. Going to bring it up to +3 attack.
Oh, okay.
Ferrothorn, he's going for another Iron Defense.
The +6, I respect that. The +6 is very smart here. This is as defensive as you're going to get, so you might as well take it, considering this Calyrex is at +3 now. So this guy is scary. Actually, I think the crit might KO this Ferrothorn if the Glacial Lance connects.
The crit ignores the boost, so he's just boosting his body press damage at this point. So I don't know.
Body press should just
feel
KO.
like the +4 body press would have KO'd the Calyrex here, but maybe he was afraid of that. Oh, but we're totally forgetting a factor here. Porygon choose attacking moves, foul play.
Oh, wait, Porygon just claps this thing right now. I think Porygon just kills. Yeah, Porygon, well, it depends if Porygon's faster. It kind of depends on how the trainers train their speed here.
I can only imagine it is.
I would imagine that it's faster, but we did see the guy outspeed earlier, so the Calyrex outspeed the Incineroar, so it might be like a neutral
that was after an Electro Web, to be fair.
Well, yeah, of course, but I think Min Speed is not going to outspeed the Incineroar.
Right, probably aren't. Oh, but yeah, the foul play, it comes out. It seals the deal here for Matty. We played up this endgame a little too much, forgetting about the foul play factor, but honestly, like, we didn't know who was faster, so.
That's true, and I think Ferrothorn was going to win regardless there. The timer was coming down. Yeah, wow. I mean, I think Marco played that pretty well, all things considered. I think he can definitely make some adjustments. I think the Ferrothorn the first couple turns were so perfect for Matty that it was really hard to make it back, and then Matty just didn't miss. That was part of it too. Like, if those body presses are missing, like, I think we have potentially a different game there. especially the one onto Aleki. I think if the Aleki one missed, it would have been really, really close. And I think we potentially could have saw Marco walk away with that one.
Honestly, I don't even remember if the light screen ever came into play with the Regieleki. I know it was 8 turns, but I don't know if it was the light screen. That was a long game, so I don't think the light screen was active when Kyogre was attacking on the field. So
yeah,
you might want to rework your priorities with what the Regieleki slot's doing there. I know he's Flare Blitz. He's not, obviously, if he was Special Fire move Incineroar, we would always see it against this Ferrothorn, and this would be a way different matchup. But being Flare Blitz, it's like, is Incineroar even like a check to Ferrothorn with all the body?
It can be with Taunt Mimi. That's what makes it a little bit more useful. But the scary part is Marco or Mattie can just lead Kyogre Dragapult and stuff, and that can get really scary. So like the Kyogre still has a problem that he has to deal with. So we'll have to see. That's like the scary part of the Ferrothorn team is like most of Ferrothorn's weaknesses are just covered so cleanly by Kyogre that it becomes very difficult to deal with. So we'll have to see if the Kyogre versus Incineroar kind of matchup, like which one can be played better.
Right. All right, we are starting. You know, I'm gonna get some hype music going. All right, this is a little biased. It's some Goldenrod stuff. But we are starting game 2 of our finals here, Battle Room Brawl 3, with the Incineroar Porygon 2 lead, similar to his game 1 situation against the Incineroar Mimikyu lead.
I like the Incineroar Mimi. It's just like what makes this team so good. Like these two are so broken together. It's guaranteed Trick Rooms. In this case, you probably don't want Trick Room, but it is guaranteed Trick Rooms nonetheless. So this lead is just tried and true. I think it's a great lead here. But it is going to be double Intimidate here. So it's kind of annoying for Incineroar, but not really. We all know it's just going to parting out anyways, so.
So with this lead, you have to imagine that Calyrex probably wants to come out as soon as possible, as long as Trick Room's getting up. There's going to be those mix-up mind games of like, are you going to reverse my Trick Room, or are we going to wait for the other person to Trick Room first, you know?
Yep. It's a weird situation because I'm not sure if Marco really wants Trick Room, to be honest. I think he'd rather just taunt because the Iron Defense Ferrothorn, like, Trick Room was not a fun time for the Iron Defense Ferro.
Could have said it better myself. The Calyrex does opt to switch in here as the taunt onto the Incineroar, not wanting to deal with any of those parting shots here, as it was trying to go for the parting shot as a foul play going to bust the disguise on Mimikyu.
Yeah, Mattie correctly, covering the foul play is a great play. It covers the taunt, it covers like, you don't actually really want to set up Trick Room necessarily, so like it's not the worst. It's like a really safe, good play. And again, killing this Mimikyu is really important because if Mimikyu goes down, that's the checkmate to Ferrothorn. Because like they're both playing like if Mimi goes down, then the Ferrothorn just auto wins. But as long as Mimi's alive, the checkmate doesn't exist. So like it's a fun little dynamic, and it's really weird that Mimikyu is the answer to Ferrothorn, but it really is. It's just hard to counters it if we get to those endgame scenarios, especially with a mon like Ice Rider that can just sweep through the team. Also, the taunt on Incineroar was sick. Like I gotta give him credit for that one. That's just a good play. I like the hard switch and taunt. That was good.
Yeah, it forces the Incineroar to hard switch itself into Kyogre, going to bring out that rain with the Drizzle ability. As Marco's going to go ahead and Dynamax his Ice Rider, not wanting to wait any longer. I think he realizes that one of the better ways of dealing with Ferrothorn in the back is to get as many boosts on this Pokemon as possible, so he can just force his way through the Ferrothorn before it can get the boosts up.
Yeah, as long as he sweeps through the entire team. Like if there's only Ferrothorn left, again, Mimi checkmates. So there is that.
The Will-O-Wisp onto the Porygon 2 covers like a hard switch into the Ferrothorn, but it also lowers the damage from the foul play.
Yep, that's the Wisp there is pretty clutch because he knows he's going to set up some Knuckles. You might as well Wisp so that Pokemon is just way less threatening. I really like that play from Marco as well. He's definitely like, because the Ferrothorn kind of got in on turn 1 last game, and it just kind of set up right away. So it was just kind of a nightmare scenario from turn 1. But I do think this game, Marco is putting a lot more pressure on, and he's helping sustain the game. I really like the Incineroar adjustment. It's making it so that he's not getting run over as much.
Well put. So the Tapu Fini is going to come out now. Marco doesn't want the Mimikyu to fall in case it does need to be in the end game against the Ferrothorn. Porygon 2 going to swap out itself into the Incineroar, going to put the Ice Rider back at neutral attack. Will we see a Dynamax from Matty himself? We do. So Kyogre's going to Dynamax, wanting to kind of have a more focused down single target burst move rather than a potential water spout here.
Also just doubling your health. With Kyogre's horrible defense stat for a legendary, doubling your health is just a great positional thing as well, just because this Ice Rider is at +1 attack. Now neutral, but it's still a little bit scary sometimes to mess with the Ice Rider.
So the Max Geyser going in the top of Fini. Oh, is that a critical hit?
Oh no!
Oh, no.
That's so bad. Why does that kill with a crit? What the hell is that damage?
That's Mystic Water boosted, Rain boosted damage onto the Tapu Fini. That was Marco's best way of dealing with this Kyogre defensively, but it's not taking the critical hit Max move.
Ooh, that crit was bad. I mean, also, like, the big thing about the crit there that makes it even more impactful is Tapu Fini could just press Protect on this turn, and it could have stalled even more turns of Max. That was what the Fini really wanted to accomplish. But now Mimi and Incineroar is just they're guaranteed dead. Yep. They can't Protect. Like, there's nothing they can do. So one of them has to faint here while he tries to navigate around that. Both are really good versus Ferrothorn, so it's worth saving one of them. But that was a really, really good crit for Matty. That was really good.
I don't want to call it game ending just yet, but it is pretty doomed for Marco, especially because like the parting shot Intimidate cycle from Matty's Incineroar is going to make sure that this Calyrex isn't going to be doing anything to the Ferrothorn in the end game. I mean, knocking out the Kyogre, but like Mimikyu isn't going to be able to maneuver around both Incineroar and Porygon 2 in order to endgame against the Ferrothorn.
Yeah, this is looking really, really scary, especially because like the parting shot probably allows Kyogre to live as well. So I don't even think Marco's going to be able to get a KO. Oh, never mind, no parting shot, but a Trace will accomplish the same thing. Because it cannot trace as one. So this is a free traced Intimidate, which is, you know, as just as good, honestly, as a parting shot. It's just a little safer. It's a cute play again.
You're not getting faked out there, because I think what Incineroar is doing here is faking out that slot, and that's exactly what we're seeing, right? Because he's slower than the Kyogre, and he's going to go down to this Max Geyser. So that's all Incineroar was going to do. But Matty, with those Galaxy Brain Trace Porygon 2 plays, we saw a huge one last game. Even better here, this Calyrex isn't going to be doing anything.
Totally forgot Fake Out was live, but that does allow Kyogre to easily live this, and now Mimi's probably just going to die to a Max Geyser, so then it'll be Calyrex versus the world, which is just very unlikely that Calyrex can win against 4 Pokemon, and one of them probably just being Ferrothorn with the Intimidate spam here.
Pretty crazy. Mimikyu is going to be out here as Calyrex is going to turn back into its normal form, but Kyogre, it has another max turn left. It can just KO this Mimikyu, and the Calyrex somehow has to manage against Matty's entire team while it's just constantly being neutered over and over.
Yeah, and we also know it's Assault Vest too, so that's just free Fake Out bait. You can just spam Iron Defenses, Water Spouts, whatever you want while you're faking it out over and over. So I think this is like definitely over. That critical hit was really, really huge, just because he wasn't able to stall as many max turns as he would have liked. That's really what it was. Like, Fini probably would have died to a Max Geyser or Max Lightning anyways, but it's just like you stalled 2-3 max turns instead of just taking 1. It means all 3 turns got a KO because of that. So
and at a certain point, Fini would have gone to +2 special defense and gotten all those leftovers recovery, being able to deal with Kyogre after max as well. So
there was hope. There was hope. But now, there is none. There is none. It's Calyrex versus the world. I don't think he can do it. But maybe if it got enough attack boost, but even then, it needs to crit like every move in the game here.
Yeah, he needs all the critical hits, all the chilling nays in the world. Frankly, yeah, Kyogre's just going to switch out, not wanting to give him the chilling nay boost right into this Ferrothorn. But if we could see a glacial... No, the fake out onto the Calyrex is perfectly fine.
Yep, fake out, then you parting shut out one more time, and then you fake him out one more time, and then it's just probably easy money game, you know? Easy clap.
Yeah, iron defenses, parting shots. I mean, like, Porygon 2 is not doing any damage, but we saw it was faster than Calyrex, so even if it was, like, not in a, like, -4 attack state, Calyrex wasn't going to win this anyways, because the damage onto it would have been just too immense.
Yep, we're just gonna watch as they slowly, you know, suck the life out of this poor Calyrex. It's trying its best.
Yeah, the
Iron
Glacial
defense,
Lance essentially doing nothing. Iron defense going to be brought up. Honestly, forgot that Porygon 2 is burned, so I guess foul play wouldn't have been as big of a thing. But there's just way too much potential damage on the board from Marco 2, given that this is a 4v1.
I do think, like, this game, while it was unfortunate he got crit, I do think it's one of those situations, like, I always like to look at, I think this matchup's a little bit bad for Marco, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like one of those things that when there's a little bit of luck in a bad matchup, it just snowballs the game completely in the one who got lucky's favor, you know? Like, because if you play perfectly, this happened to me thousands of times. But, like, if you're in this, when the matchup's really bad, if you get a little bit unlucky, it means more than when the matchup's neutral. So, like, I think it's just one of those cases where that crit is just game ending because, like, one critical hit is game ending because of the matchup's just not the best. So
yeah, it's a whole thing about risk analysis here and what you have to do in order to get through those tough matchups. I think Marco did what he could, but obviously another way you get through bad matchups is misplays from either side. But we're in the finals of the Battle Room Brawl 3, everyone. Like, misplays are going to be far and few between. Like, Matty and Marco proved themselves to be able to make it here to finals. So, Matty doing what he does best with this Ferrothorn to secure a dub here.
So we'll see this body press come through and pick up the KO, crowning Matty as the Battle Room Brawl champ of the Battle Room Brawl 3 champ. Congrats to Matty. He played incredibly well. Got a little bit lucky. It happens. But I do think the matchup was in his favor, and he did play most of the turns pretty well. So I got to give credit where it's due, and Matty played well, and he deserved the win there. It was unfortunate for Marco to make it so far and then get a little bit unlucky in the finals. It's never a good feeling.